Hi, today we're gonna be making pasticcio, which also called Greek lasagna. So we're gonna be using about 500 grams of penne pasta, or you can also use cassarese pasta, and put it in boiling water, about 10 cups of boiling water, and pour about a tablespoon of oil and about a teaspoon of salt in there, and let it boil about 10 minutes or whatever the pasta instructions are in the package. We're gonna let it cook in there. And we're gonna start making the meat sauce. We're gonna be putting about a quarter of a cup for olive oil. And put into medium to high heat. About 4 cups for 1,000 grams of extra lean ground beef. I have here, you can use veal also. Gotta let it heat. And some people like to put the onion first, but you get most of the flavor from the meat, and a lot of people like to put the meat first, to brown it first, and then the onion, because it gives you more flavor. Break it down into small pieces. It's a lot of meat in here, but if you want to make half of those, you can make half. And put the heat higher now, and we can lower it later. Break it. Stirring the pasta. Okay, pasta. This is the thin one. It doesn't take very long. Keep breaking it until it's a brown color. So because I'm using a big pan, that's why I have a lot of meat sauce. pasta is almost ready. It doesn't need to cook over 10 minutes because it's also going to cook in the oven. And all the juices here need to evaporate. A little bit on the pasta. After the pasta and the meat sauce cooks, we're going to be making the bechamel, the creamy sauce that we use on pasticcio. Pasticcio is 3 parts. It's pasta, meat sauce, and bechamel, and you combine them at the end for your dish. You can also make the meat sauce the day before and the bechamel, so you don't have so much to do. Because pasticcio is even better if you make it the day before and eat it the day after. Now it's starting to get the color, so you get all the liquid. When it starts to brown, we'll add the onions. I have about half of a big onion cut and a clove of garlic crushed and cut also. I'm going to be adding that soon. It's a lot of meat, so it takes a while. If you put a smaller pan and less meat, it'll be faster. We'll close the pasta and let it stand for a minute or two. should be starting to brown soon. You can cover it for a minute. Now we can add the onions and garlic at this point. So we said that's half an onion and 1 clove of garlic of a big onion. You can use 2 small onions for that. Pasta is ready. We're gonna drain the pasta now. So you don't need to overcook it because it'll also go inside the oven to finish. Put it in a bowl and add about a stick of butter. You can stir it. Melt. You can use less butter if you want. I use a whole stick so the pan doesn't get stuck in the pan after the pasta. And you can leave it there until the other 2 parts are done. Now it's starting to make this sound, and when it starts making that sound, you add the wine. A sweet wine will be better for this. And then you can add some grated cinnamon stick for flavor. And some nutmeg seeds, freshly grated. also add 1 or 2 bay leaves. And we have a teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of paprika, and a teaspoon of salt also. Stir very well to get all the spices mixed with the meat, and the bay leaf is gonna give it a nice flavor and aroma. And put it off with about a cup of your favorite broth. I have some veggie broth. You can use beef or veal broth. And after that, we can add about 300 ml of your favorite tomato sauce. This is just a strained tomato. Stir it all, mix it all well, and then you let it put the heat down so it all simmers together. So for the meat sauce, it's about a half an hour preparation. Just because it's a lot of meat here, 4 cups of ground beef. But the nutmeg and the cinnamon gives it that unique flavor that pasticcio has. Put the heat a little, like medium to low, and cover and let it simmer. Then we can start on the bechamel. We're going to use about 1 stick of butter. Let it melt. The heat needs to be a small element and about a medium heat for this, for the beginning. You can save some of this butter to put it on top, whatever you prefer. But it has so much butter you don't need to, but I do sometimes put butter on top for more color in the oven. We're also going to add some cheese. It's about a tablespoon in the meat sauce after it cooks. At this point, you can put the pasta in the pan. And spread it evenly. And wait for the meat sauce. Now we're going to add about a cup of flour for the bechamel. Until it crumbles, you stir it. slowly and lower the heat if you because it's a liter of milk. If you're using less milk, you don't have to use that much flour. Until it breaks into small pieces. You keep it in low heat. I have some room temperature milk. It's about a liter or 4 cups. And you pour about a 1/3 maybe first, and then you stir it slowly until it gets thickened, and then we add more. We'll check on our meat sauce right now. Needs to absorb a little bit more liquids. It smells really good. It doesn't need much more, it's just to absorb the liquids more. Then we're going to remove the bay leaf. You can also add a whole stick of cinnamon in there for more flavor or grate. Bechamel, you need to watch it. It doesn't score in the bottom. Pour some more milk when it gets thick. You can put the heat a little higher. Now I'm going to close the meat sauce and let it stand there for a couple minutes. While we're working on bechamel. Just break all the little crumbs, the butter and flour. And as soon as it starts thickening, you add more milk. Make sure you break all the lumps. and let it boil a little bit. Now I'm gonna add some cheese. I have Parmesan cheese here for about a spoon. You can add any cheese you like. Or you can remove the bay leaf. Don't leave it in there. And let it drink all the juices. And bechamel should be getting thicker soon. Make sure you break all the little bumps. It's almost ready. You don't need to add anything else right now, but when you take it off the heat, you add an egg yolk for color. Because the egg will be cooked if you put it at this point. It needs to sit and cool off for a minute before you add the egg. You can turn off the heat when you see it getting thick. Stir a little more. Get all the little bumps out. Now let it stand for a little bit. Then we can check our meat sauce. Maybe you can strain a little bit of the oil left on the top. Now the meat sauce is ready to be spread over the pasta. You put it everywhere evenly, spoon it through. And just press it down so it's evenly. You can add at this point the cheese, or you could add it to the pasta if you want, but I'm gonna add it now so you can pick up more of those juices. This is a Parmesan, about a cup, grated Parmesan. But like I said, you can either put it on top of the pasta or your meat sauce, so you can drink up more of those juices and more flavor. And now we're gonna work on the bechamel. You can add the egg yolk right now for more color. A lot of people like to use 2 egg yolks, but I like to use 1. And you can also add a pinch of salt, paprika, and pepper for more color and flavor at this point. Let it cool off a little bit. And then we're gonna grate again cinnamon. For more flavor, and nutmeg seed. Maybe about it's about a half teaspoon. Stir it. Then we'll add about a half a cup of the same grated Parmesan cheese for more flavor. And it's ready. Now we're going to spread it. This is the easiest way, and then with a spoon or a spatula you can spread it all through. To get all the cream out. Now spread it evenly. All the corners. Now, like I said before, you can add butter on top, but because I used a lot of butter on the bechamel, I don't need to right now, but you can put also breadcrumbs or anything you like, but I'll leave it at this point. And you cook it. For this size of pan, it's about a 15 to 11 inch pan. You'll need close to an hour. A thicker pan, and you preheat the oven. This oven is ready, or was already preheated to 350 for, like I said, about an hour or an hour and 10 minutes. I have some ready made. This was a thicker pan, so it took an hour and 10 minutes. And you should let it stand before you serve. This is how it looks like after it's done. So we can try to cut a piece here. So that's what it looks like. Very creamy. It's also better if you eat it like the day after, cold. It has more flavor, all the flavors together. So yeah, that's the pasticcio Greek lasagna. Thank you.